1. I work in a call center where people call us to make their holiday bookings or ask general questions, etc. I had a gentleman call me the other day saying he wanted to book for Christmas through to New Year's, and there were 4 different locations he was interested in. Convo goes as such. I am looking for pricing for a Christmas to New Year's break, and I'm looking at Hotel W, X, and Y, and Z. Could you help? I'm jotting down what he's told me. Yep, so that would be from, and I give the dates, correct? Have you been away with us before? Oh, yes. I stupidly assume he knows how this whole booking fiasco works then, if he's been away with us before. Amazing. Which hotel would you like me to start looking at with you? Well, I thought you could look into this for me and email me with the details. Pardon? If I give you my email, can you email me the prices for the hotels? Just a standard room will do, and I can look over the prices and decide where we want to go. I'm staring into the middle distance now, pen lax in my hand, as I consider my next words. I'm sorry, I don't think I can email anything for you. I can go through the different hotels with you, but there's a lot of variables between the hotels and other information I'd have to check with you to make an accurate booking for you. The dude, who I can hear getting annoyed, says, I just want some prices for the holidays emailed to me. And I'm annoyed he's getting antsy with me. Yes, but would you want just a standard room, or just a standard room with a double bed would do? Whatever reasonable cost you could find would be suitable. I'm now clinging to what little will I have to live. Right, I can look into that with you. The dude is annoyed and baffled I'm not just doing what he wants. If you could just email it to me for me to look over, start with Hotel X and work from there. Whatever lowest cost room you have that's reasonable, and I can get back to you to make a booking. I give up. Right, and what was your email? He perked up once I asked for his email, but I kind of gave up at that point because he clearly wasn't listening to what I was saying. I said I'd see what I could do for him, but honestly, I'm not really sure what I can do. I'm in a call center with a queue of people. When exactly am I looking up the prices for 4 different locations with no information other than a standard room with a double bed? What if they don't have standard rooms left? Would you want me to look at other available rooms or write off that hotel and move to the next one? Do you have a preference if your room has a shower or a bath? And when am I looking up this info? In between calls with other people who have questions or want me to check pricing or want to make an actual booking? There's just an entitlement to it that irked me. I'm happy to sit there and go through it all with you if you want the info. I know it can be overwhelming researching it all yourself sometimes, but at least have the decency to respect my time and be on the call with me while I do all this research for you, and have you there to clarify info with. I'm paid to help you make a holiday, but I'm not paid to be your personal assistant to look this all up and send it to you when there are other people waiting their turn in the queue. Rant over. 2. Long story short, we are a large company and we take calls from all English-speaking countries, Canada, America, and some European countries, whilst their local center is closed. We rarely get calls, but we are more than equipped to take them. It means that we have 24/7 customer support, and means I get to speak to customers worldwide, which I love. The American customer, calling from Arkansas, where it was 2 a.m., started off very abruptly by interrupting my call introduction with, "Why's your website broken?" I kindly explained that our website is functioning properly at the moment, but the issue may be with his connection, and I'd be happy to assist, etc. He is very rude, but I help as best I can, and it honestly sounds like his Wi-Fi is off on his laptop or device he is accessing the website on. As he said, the page said, "Can't reach this page," and was moaning about how patronizing it was to say, I genuinely think that's Bing's error screen. I wanted to check if anything was loading on his browser, so painstakingly explained how to open a tab. How he even opened our website, I have no clue. And asked him to type google.com to see if it would load. I don't think it did, but he started shouting, "I don't know why you're asking me to do that. It's not my job to fix your website. You call this customer service?" He kept calling me a little girl as well, which was horrible as I'm a fully grown woman. I let him finish and go to kindly explain the issue isn't with us, but I'm here to help, so would appreciate him not shouting at me. But before I finish, he asks to speak to an American citizen who understands customer service. I'm taken aback, but I go to explain he's welcome to call back during our American Center's opening times. He doesn't let me finish, and goes on about how every company has call centers in India to save money, and nobody in India can understand simple problems. I'm confused, but I go to finish what I was saying, and even had the American Center's opening times up to give to him. He doesn't even let me finish and keeps going on about how it's a money-saving thing, or whatever. I decide to terminate the call, so I tell him, "I'm terminating the call. If you call before 9 a.m. today, you'll be routed to us here in the Glasgow or London office." He started talking again halfway through, but I kept speaking. He started to shout as I hung up, and it clipped out, and it was quite funny. Sorry to my American colleagues, I got that later on. Sorry for the rant. Wasn't really what I was expecting before 9 a.m. UK time. 3. I work for a big supply company. It's a great company. We still like to cater to more old-school customers, so as well as offering online ordering or emailed POs, we also take orders over the phone. Anyway, I had a woman call in and ask to place an order. The conversation goes like this. "Thank you for calling. How can I help you today?" "I'm calling to place an order." "What company are you calling from?" "Stuff store." "Okay, great. And what's your name?" "What?" "Oh, you just asked me that. I'm calling from Stuff store. For a second, I thought you were asking for my name." "I'm sorry for the confusion. I am asking for your name. I just need to enter it in the contact for the order." "I already told you I work for Stuff store. That should be enough. You don't need to know my personal information." "I'm sorry, but I do need your name for the order. If any issues come up, both our company and yours may need to know who placed this order." At this point, she's irritated. Some people don't understand the verification process, so, in a sense, I can understand why she might think I'm just hassling her for information, but I'm really not asking for a lot. "I already told you I work for Stuff store. Just put the order on the account." "I understand that, but I'll still need to know who is placing the order. I can't place an order under a company account without knowing if the caller works for the company." "I just told you I work for the company." "I understand that as well, but anyone could call and say they work for a company. Would you want me placing orders on your company account for people that didn't work there?" "But I work for the company. Of course you shouldn't take orders from people who don't work here." "Well, how am I supposed to know if they work there or not?" She hangs up. I was asking for her name, not her social security number. I don't get how people have jobs where they're in charge of purchasing, yet don't understand basic verification questions. Best part is, I can almost guarantee that she hung up on me, so she could call back and get a different rep. Well, joke's on her. They're also going to want her name. 4. I worked at a call center of nurses to give advice on whether the caller needed to go to the ER, GP, manage symptoms at home, etc. As is health advice, it's crucial to document everything, because if someone was, for example, instructed to stay at home while exhibiting clear stroke symptoms, we'd be responsible. Well, a new manager was hired above our own floor manager to increase productivity, as the number of calls increased rapidly beginning of COVID. She felt it was necessary to reduce the time we spent on documenting after the call had ended. In addition to medical records, we had to fill out a short questionnaire about each call to monitor the reasons people call us. Internal purposes, not really my expertise. So, it obviously took a while. Average time, I think, was around 3 minutes after each call. The new manager informed us that 90 seconds was going to be enough, and she had asked the IT department to make a program to push a new caller after those 90 seconds, whether we were ready or not. The call would ring, loudly, first on headphones, and after 10 seconds on the computer's sound system. New patient's information screen popped up. Everything unfinished was pushed to the back, and we had to either decline the call, only allowed in emergencies, or let it ring and try and work over the ringing, which could not be muted. It was horrible. The noise was unbearable. And just in a few hours, we workers complained so much that the new manager just told us to take the new call and finish up the old one while talking to the new patient. Cue malicious compliance. Patient information law, similar to HIPAA in the US, violations here we come. Having two patients' info up at the same time, trying to figure out why the latter called, and wrapping up the previous one. How many documentations were written on the wrong patient's records? We tried. It was even worse than before. It took us about an hour to realize it would never work, and so we took the new call, asked them to wait for a second, muted the call, and finished up the previous one. The customers were not happy, but us workers gladly directed them to avenues to give feedback through. The company got so many bad reviews and online complaints in the first 6 months that they had to regroup and stay late on that Monday evening to undo everything. We went back to normal on Tuesday, 2 hours later than we should have opened, due to reprogramming. The new manager was with us less than 3 months. Don't miss her a bit. I had the most chaotic, headache-inducing 8.5 hours of my life that day. Still have nightmares of that ringtone. Now I'm working somewhere where quality of care is put over quantity. A charity-based organization. I was so worried I'd make a mistake while rushing through the calls. It's hard to assess people without seeing them. You have to trust what they tell you, and record everything they describe experiencing to prove your assessment. The following are 4 examples of how not to commit insurance fraud. Number 1. I have had a terrible leak in the bathroom. It has ruined all our carpets. Am I covered? You do have that cover under your policy. I will send a loss adjuster out to see you as soon as possible. Thank you. The caller fails to then hang up properly. Deirdre? Turn the taps on, it is covered. Number 2. The police report shows there is not enough evidence that someone entered your property on the 1st of June. But there's damage to my locks. Yes, the police saw that when they came to your property on the 3rd of June, but it wasn't there when they attended on the 2nd of June. And? That suggests the locks were damaged after their first visit, and doesn't confirm that someone illegally entered your property on the 1st of June. Number 3. We are unable to cover the claim for the death of your dog. Why? There are discrepancies with the breeder certificate. What discrepancies? The certificate states that the dog and breeder are both registered with the Kennel Club. We have checked and they aren't. So? There is no such thing as a Labrador. Yes, if you're going to fake documents, please spell check. But I still giggle at the thought of a strain of Labrador that had a permanently grumpy demeanor. Number 4. A little bit of background that a lot of insurance companies offer cover if your pet goes missing and you incur expenses recovering them. This can be any reasonable expense, adverts, dog warden fees, even the fire department if your pet is trapped somewhere. Most people get some flyers printed to put up or deliver to houses in your area. I'm afraid that we can't cover the cost of printing leaflets. Why not? Well, the receipt is handwritten. Lots of people do handwritten invoices. Yes, but printers normally print them. Well, I will get another receipt from them. 2 weeks later, I'm sorry, but the new receipt isn't sufficient for us to be able to pay your claim. Why not? Well, this one is printed, but it is a word-processed document on standard printer paper. So? Documents produced by professional printers are normally of a very high standard, and this isn't. The address is incomplete, there isn't a VAT, a sales tax number, and it looks like it was put together on a home computer. It's not my fault the business keeps giving me bad receipts. That is why I called the business up. Despite phoning at different times of the day, they don't answer the phone during business hours. The address given doesn't match anything registered with Royal Mail, the post office. There isn't any business in your town with a similar name, so I'm afraid I can't settle this claim. Well, if that's your attitude, I'm withdrawing my claim and cancelling the policy. I'll transfer you through straight away. Are you going to try to change my mind? No. Enjoy the rest of your day. Number 5. In the UK, there is an issue where people who are a high insurance risk try to reduce their premiums by pretending to be an occasional driver of a car and give the details of someone else as the main driver. This is most commonly a young man pretending the car is being driven by their mother. Many companies will automatically rate the insurance on the highest risk anyway, but for those who don't, it is called fronting, and is a form of insurance fraud. It is classed as obtaining goods and services by deception, and could land you in trouble even if you don't have a claim. Best case scenario, if you do, is that you have to pay the difference in premiums anyway, or have the cover voided without a refund. Details have been changed to protect the innocent, and I didn't deal with the call myself. It was one of the water cooler cases. Why are you cancelling my policy? Please, could you confirm your name and car registration? Robert Gunn, RO 13, Gunn. I can see the policy was rated on your mother, Louise, but we have reason to believe that you're the main driver. How can you say that? When the engineer inspected your car to authorize the repairs, he identified that your registration plate was adjusted so that it reads Rob Gunn. We just get that for when I drive my own car. It was the sun stickers you have fixed to the windscreen, with your name on the driver's side and your girlfriend's on the passenger side. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Please Hold, episode 31. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, please do hit that like button, and share the video with friends and family. If you'd like early access to these videos, you can get that by joining me on my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. You can support me there for as little as $1 or more a month, and you get all the videos on a Monday. You'll also find links there to the Hellfreezer Discord server, as well as a link to the Hellfreezer merchandise store on Teespring, where you can get hoodies and mugs and other bits and bobs. If you really liked today's video, then why not leave a tip? You can do that by clicking on the heart with a $sign underneath the video. None of that is ever required, but it is very much appreciated and quite helpful. Okay, no other business today, so let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is, And today's answer comes from Jane Newcomb on the Discord. What thing bothers you most about driving? And Jane says, back when I started driving, I didn't imagine self-driving cars mixing with human-driven cars coming into the equation. Personally, as I've mentioned before, I'm quite excited about the notion of self-driving cars. Once they perfect the technology, of course. It's early days yet, but I think it's coming along. Unless it's made by Tesla, but it's coming along otherwise. Now, it's been a while since I've been behind the wheel of a car, back when I was taking lessons. But the whole concept of driving is kind of wild to me. The idea that we have these rules that everyone's expected to just obey, and if they choose not, then disaster happens. Like traffic lights, what's that all about? You're sitting there, and the only reason everyone doesn't die a horrible fiery death is predicated on the fact that everyone will obey this light, which has no authority other than to shine. Possibly best, I never got my license, although it is something I want to do in the future. Because, as I say, I want to get a self-driving car, but I think you'll still need, and should still need, a license to own one of those. Why don't you let me know what you think in a comment below? I'll go back to worrying about traffic lights. Although, speaking as a pedestrian, one thing that bothers me about driving is if I'm standing, waiting to cross the road, and a car comes along and there's literally nothing behind it at all, then they stop to let you pass. That's not being nice. That's just being weird. Just pass. Pass. There's nothing behind you. I'll cross behind you. You're just going to slow down. I'm wondering why you're slowing down. You're going to look at me like I'm an idiot, then gesture wildly that I should cross the road, when all you're doing is just slowing both of us down. Maybe that's just a me thing. Anyway, before we go, let's have the answer of the day from a previous video. And this was in relation to, do you like your pastries savoury or sweet? Today's answer comes from Moonlight545. Pastries. I do love them both. That's an incredibly difficult call. I would choose sweet, simply because I have a major sweet tooth. Thank you very much for your answer, Moonlight. And with that, I'm going to head off for now, so until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.